I'm Steph, that quirky bird girl. Hold up, I just heard a western osprey. Oh, it's a laughing kookaburra. A blue jay. And don't even get me started on the belted kingfisher.
Birds, aves, uchelis. That's birds in 3 different languages. The more you bird know.
Hit that follow and subscribe button for more bird fun. Watch my TV show one day.
Hello, 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 and welcome back to That Quirky Bird Girl. I am your host, Steph, and today I will be talking to you guys about all of the amazing things that I have learned from our wonderful, wonderful migratory birds, okay? And if you're new to my page, welcome in. I'm so happy that you're here. If you're new to my page, welcome in. I am so happy that you're here. There have been so many big changes for us at That Quirky Bird Girl. I'm working on my website, you guys. I have a lot of changes and exciting things coming up soon, such as bird tours. So I just finished a national bird tour. I was in San Francisco. I was in Seattle, you guys, delivering to you all the bird lore that is moi, okay? And I had so much fun doing it. So I will be recounting some of that over here on my channel over the next few months because boy, oh boy, do we have time, you guys. This episode, though, is about an important time that is happening in this very momento. So I'm going to be focusing on that, but those are a little bit of the other things I got going on. In addition to that, you guys, we are growing to 10K. Okay, you heard that, right? And you heard it here first. By the end of the year, I will be at 10K. Now, where am I at right now? I'm at 8K followers, subscribers across all platforms. Specifically on TikTok, at 5K followers, and I am looking to grow. You guys, I am hungry, okay? I have a goal of being a ambassador, champion, spokesperson, brand for the Bird Collective, and that does not happen through anything else but hard work, you guys. So this is our first step on the way there. We're doing it together. So buckle in, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys throughout this episode. I hope you enjoy it because I did, okay? And reason why I enjoyed it because it allowed me to reflect on everything that's been going on crazily, but truly, in my life over the past few months. My life has been busy, busy, busy. And there have been a lot of things that I've had to pause and be like, wait, hold up. Is this necessary that I do this in this very moment? Okay. Your girl's got ADHD. She struggles with, some time management of sorts and some prioritization management of sorts. So I'll get into how birds help me with that. Specifically migratory birds, but here are our lovely chapters. So diving in one, I'm going to go bird by bird, telling you guys some of the lessons that I learned from each and every single one of them, because there's a bunch to learn from birds, you guys. I've got a lot of it learned, but I still got lots more to learn. And I'm excited to be doing with you all, sharing with you all my life lessons, my failures, because boy, oh boy, do I have them. Do you want to know one right off the bat? Well, I started my project with my website back in July. Guess when I thought I was going to finish it? July. Guess when I'm still working on it? October. Okay. Crushes my little soul arena. Okay. But you know what? Got to be a little migratory, channel some of that energy. Okay, people. And that is what I'm doing. That's what I came on here to do with you all. So I'm going to do it together. Okay. Chapter 1, baby. Let's hit it. Okay. So we have got our birds that have helped me be comfortable with being early. That's our chapter 1. Our chapter 2 is birds that have made me feel comfortable being late. Chapter number 3, community birds, because if you thought I was going to miss out on talking about community, it doesn't happen here, you guys. If community's coming up, it's because I'm yapping about it, okay? We're doing it. Then we're going to talk about opportunistic and finding an opportunity. And boy, oh boy, do I have a bird to share, or a few, that we've been talking about a bunch over on my channel. So if you're coming here from tickety tackety clickety clackety, well, guess what? This is an extension of what we do together here. Before we dive into the episode, though, I want to deliver you guys a little bit of a prologue of sorts, okay? And in this prologue, I will describe to you that my life has literally been running in sprints. Like, I feel like I've just been doing chunks of activity here, chunks of activity here, chunks of activity here. And I've been reading a bunch about like project management and time management and how to best assess even like my own skills. So that has been really interesting to digest and intake. I feel like it's had a really, really positive impact on my ability to keep going and not reach burnout, which thank the high hills for the birds, because truly without the birds, I wouldn't be able to be doing this. But my life is just like these itty bits and in between, and in those in between phases, I've really learned and tried my best to focus in on where I can continue growing and where I can continue showing up for myself. And oftentimes that means just like looking at it and saying, wow, I did that dang thing. Like I did that. That's awesome. And then moving into the next thing. Because what I used to do in my past was I would be like, okay, awesome, cool. What's the next thing? I literally don't care about this thing that I just accomplished. And next. Like I was just I'm very much the type of person that I love to reach my milestones. I love to reach my goals. It excites me. It fuels me. It makes me hungry. It makes me want more, you know? And all of those things are really good, but all of those things can also lead to burnout if they're not kept in check. Your girl truly learned that the hard way. And so now I'm much more conscious about where I'm pouring my energy to and making sure that I'm celebrating myself and all of the amazing things that I'm doing, because I'm literally carving out a bird niche where bird niche does not exist. Okay. And on top of that, I'm doing things in my career that I'm so excited about that I really, truly never thought I would actually be doing. But bada boom, bada bing, here I am, baby, and I'm doing them with a smile on my face and feeling like I deserved every single accolade that it brought me to. Like, are you kidding me? And birds have been a part of that because I've allowed myself to come out of burnout through birds. And I've talked about that quite a bit over on my page. I'd be happy to do a larger burnout episode on birds and the integration of that. But really, truly, like I have taken lessons from birds and guides from birds to be able to integrate that into my day to day so that I feel more supported and that I don't feel like I'm like moving through the day alone. You know, when I'm having a hard time, when I'm like struggling and sitting, at that desk just slamming away, I hear a blue jay and I'm reminded of the strength that I have just like in between my arms. And I'm reminded that like I really truly can make anything come true. And it's just about like putting that energy and that focus and that time into what it is that I really want to do. So all of this to say, birds have helped me a lot, but they've also helped me get into this sprint mindset and not feel bad about taking a second to rest, pause, reset, and come back in it better, better, stronger, more powerful, and ready to take on anything. Okay. And that is where I get myself. So overall, like birds have been incredibly helpful. I'm saying this to say that they're not just helpful in my personal life and in me having hobbies, they're also helpful in my professional life. They build up my relationships and allows people to know and care about me. Like, for example, one of my very close and dear friends called me this morning because she saw a bird, and unfortunately it was like a tragic story. But the thing is like, because of my love for birds and my passion of birds, I gave my friend a window into connection with me. And now, like, we have that like moment of connection. And I've been in relationships, friendships where you have these like bids of attention or bids of affection that could be ingrained or could be leaned more into. And oftentimes people completely miss out on them. So having something that you're deeply, deeply passionate about gives people the opportunity to feed you more in terms of giving you like love that you feel like you want, need, deserve, because you do deserve all of those things and all of that or all of those relationships. But I think just finding the people that can get excited about the things that you get excited about, maybe in a different way, but also use it as a way to connect with others because they're really great connectors and we shouldn't miss out an opportunity to connect with each other. You guys, now we are into chapter 1, and I did bury the lead. I will be talking about quite a few birds, obviously, but one of the birds I'm going to be talking about today, especially in this chapter 1, is the American Woodcock. And if you didn't notice, I've got a brand new addition, a bird painting up there. So that is an American Woodcock for those of you that are watching the video. So they're added to my now collection of Sora, Canada Goose, Western Osprey, and American Robins and Palm Warblers. And I also just painted Orchard Orioles the other day too. So I have quite a few paintings around, but I'm going to talk about the American Woodcock and how they taught me that it is literally so beyond okay, encouraged, embraced to take on being early. Our American Woodcock. How do they help us, you ask? Well, my friend, these migratory species are of one of the very first to arrive to their destination and begin the mating ceremonies, rituals. If you've never seen an American Woodcock mating dance or call, allow me to do it for you a little bit. They do this head dance, and the beat goes 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. That's how their head like goes back and forth. And sometimes they'll throw like a 2 head, and then they're dancing. And mind you, their body doesn't move. So do you see that long, like long neck? That is what's dancing around, and it's so goofy, silly, funny. But the American Woodcock, as I said, they're one of the earliest. So that means, what does that mean, folks? There was totally a point in time once where they were like uncomfortable with what they were doing because they were the first ones doing it. But sometimes you have to get uncomfortable and do the ugly thing and be the first person to do it so that when everyone else looks around and they're like, how the heck do I do it? You were the first person that did it, and it was uncomfortable for you, but it's less uncomfortable for the very next person. Guess what? Guess what you just created? An environment where someone felt more safe to be themselves. Look at how awesome that is. And I think that's part of why I've always connected so deeply with the American Woodcock. But I think that mission and, my core mission very much aligns with the experience of the American Woodcock. They always made me feel like it was okay to be super early. To be super early is super uncomfortable, as I said a second ago. But there's also this feeling that to be early is to be wrong until someone else starts doing it, until someone else validates that you are doing it. Oftentimes it takes an external voice for us to even hear that we're doing something that's novel, exciting, new, thrilling, enticing. All of these like adverbs that we could add to it. There's just so much that you could experience in being early, because you have the opportunity to really, really, really make waves and really make a change. And if you're someone who like craves that change, if you're someone whose answer when someone was like, why do you want to do X? You're like, I want to make a difference in the world. I like that has always been my answer. Always, always, always. And it's always helped guide me too. And knowing that like to be in an environment where I am making an active difference in the world, like where I am doing something that is contributing to a change, like that is my ultimate life goal. And sometimes it feels wrong. So when you're looking at the situation of an American Woodcock and you're seeing that they're doing this like awkward, weird dance to try and acquire a mate, and 9 out of 10 times they fail. Okay, not that frequently, but they do fail pretty frequently in getting a female to be attracted to his lure. So it's almost like being early is this reminder that you have to be comfortable with discomfort and comfortable with the fact that you're not going to get it right. But most of the time, like being early, you are going to land what it is that your goal is. And I feel like American Woodcocks really help embody that and understand that. And every time that I'm struggling with being early and telling myself, like, you're carving out this space that doesn't exist, like quirkiness in birds, like, yeah, it exists in the underbelly of the bird community, but no one's like out screaming, like, I'm a weirdo. I love birds. I love this. Like, no one's out there doing that. And I felt like that's what I so desperately needed when I first started getting interested in birds, because I was like, everyone is taking this so seriously. And yes, like, don't get me wrong, birds are so serious. Like, saving bird lives are so serious. And there are so many organizations and people who do that important work, that educational work. I'm not necessarily here to do that educational work. I'm here to share my story, how birds have helped me, how they've impacted me, what I hope to do with my voice, how my mental health has improved as a result of birds. Like, all of these things are experiential, but they're not scientific. And I don't want to be a scientific person. At one point in time, I was studying political science, which is ironic given the sentence that I just said, but I never intended on being an educator, like at no point in my life. And I think that I've just kind of fallen in love with sharing my story and hopefully making things easier for the next person, or hopefully making it so that someone doesn't have to struggle in the same way that I did, because boy, oh boy, you guys, did I struggle. And I feel like there are ways that we can help support each other and make sure that each other doesn't have to go through those same things, regardless of whether that applies to your career, your personal life, familial relationship. Like, you shouldn't be experiencing the same things over and over and over again. And if you are and you're caught in that cycle, I'm so sorry. And I want you to find the tools that will help you get out of it. And I know for me, birds have been one of those tools. And the American Woodcock, specifically in growing my business and helping me and reminding me that I can be early and I can be ambitious. I can try my hardest and I can be seen trying my hardest. Because that's another thing. There's a lot of embarrassment wrapped up. And if you look at the dance of an American Woodcock, you see that like head bobbing that I just did for those of you that are watching the video. Like it's a very silly movement, right? It's not serious. It's goofy. It's kind of funny to see someone doing that, I'm sure. And I think that that also gives me encouragement and reminds me that like I don't have to be serious all the time. I can't be goofy. I can be silly. Like I can be me and still get my message across. You know what I mean? And I think that that embodying that within the American Woodcock is so powerful because it enables all of us to just take ourselves a little bit less seriously and hopefully take our art more seriously. You know what I mean? Like breaking those two out and saying like you don't have to take yourself seriously, but take your creativity, take your curiosity, take your passion. You know, every single time that that American Woodcock fails to win over a female, he's making minor changes that align with himself. He's not making changes to gather the woman or to appease to her specific. Because if he tried to appease to every single specific female, he's never going to get it right. He has to be him, show his dance, be as loud, abrasive, flamboyant as he possibly can. And hopefully at the end of all of that, he gets a mate and will raise his young and all of those things. But up until that point, he's in waiting and he's dancing away. And sometimes when you're in waiting, sometimes you gotta dance in a way. It's gonna be really, really boring if you're upset that you're waiting your whole life. So if you're someone who's struggling right now and you're like lying in wait, you're just like the moment is headed towards you, your time is like to shine, it's arising, you know, you're like in this period of waiting. My friend, how are you going to reclaim that waiting? Every single time that I got stuck, I look around and I'm like, am I waiting on something else or someone else or going in a different direction? Like, there are so many different questions that you could ask and attempt to answer, but American Woodcocks and their journey can certainly help you formalize and understand some of your own so that maybe that will help you in growing whatever it is that you want to grow, whether that be a channel, your art, your business. All of it's exciting and you deserve to experience joy amongst your growth. Next bird, chapter 2, is the juvenile red-bellied sapsucker. And I have seen a bunch of these bad boys in Central Park in New York City. It is migratory season, so they are learning how to make their way down south. Yes, those bad boys are migratory birds. They're absolutely beautiful. They're going to be more of like a dark gray / brown. They won't necessarily have that red that we're looking for, but they are beautiful nonetheless. And the reason why I chose a juvenile is because they're learning for the very first time their migratory journey. And their parents have long gone. Like the parents have already traveled all the way down. Now the young are making their way down and they're having a really hard time doing it. It's not an easy journey. And a lot of them are delayed in arriving down south. They don't necessarily have all the tools that they need to actually make their migratory journey because, again, it is their first time going down south. That note is really, really, really important in giving ourselves grace for the very first time that we're trying something because it's so easy to be like, oh, I suck at this, or ugh, I'm just like not good at this, or I didn't do a good job, or I didn't do enough, you know, whatever it is and whatever it might be, all of that, like you deserve better, deserve um, you deserve the experiences that are aligned with what you put out in the world. You know, sometimes that means arriving late to things. Sometimes that means not being as prepared as you thought you would be for a speech. Say, for example, you thought that by the time you gave a speech to your an audience count of 10,000, that you would have, I don't know, 100,000 followers, or like you would have at least one speech down your belt. You know, maybe you're doing it for the first time and it's like completely new. All of those experiences that kind of like shock your system and make you think, oh, am I ready for this? Like, is it time? Like, I don't feel ready. All of those experiences can build into something that really helps you grow and understand where your skills can best be a fit for the life that you're trying to build for yourself. So all of this to say, like, even if those who know more than you, those that are more educated, those that have experienced more than you have already surpassed you, they've already finished their migratory journey, you are learning, you are growing at a rate that is profound. Just keep growing. Just keep going. Don't stop and look around and ask yourself, oh my gosh, where are the ones that look like me? Where is everyone else? Where is like, don't slow yourself down just because you don't see anyone in the area that looks like you. As someone who's worked in male dominated industries for years, I can say that it is so, so, so important to just keep going. When you think that you are done, when you think that it's a wrap, when you think that there's no one that looks like me around here, I need to stop, I have to slow down, I have to, whatever you're telling yourself, stop. Okay? You deserve to be in the rooms that you are in. If not, you wouldn't be in there. So embrace it, take it on. You've got this. Just hold space for yourself. Be you, who you are, and just keep going. You can't stop just because of what others are doing around you. The only competition that you have is in yourself. So whether it feels like you're late, whether it feels like you're early, just keep going. If you need to take a pause, that's okay. You'll get there anyways. And sometimes the person who slows down and takes a breath and looks around and sees what it is that's going around them is the person who wins, because they are taking the moment to pause. They're absorbing their environment. They're absorbing their learnings. They're taking the wrongdoing. They're doing all of this information deep dive that's really going to help them learn, grow, absorb at a rate that's truly, like I said earlier, profound. That's our second bird. Our third bird is our tree swallow. Now, you might be asking me, Steph, why the heck a tree swallow? Well, like I said earlier, community is something that has always, always, always been important to me. It will always be important to me. I love community so, so deeply. It holds such a special place in my heart. And I am just so lucky that I get to experience so much love. And so that reverberates through my relationship with tree swallows. Every time I see a tree swallow, they're in groups of 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. You see them, I saw them down in Argentina. There were like 20 of them just in these like massive groups, these massive pods. And it's like you get this opportunity to see this species intermingling amongst each other, engaging. You get to see the group culture, what it is that they're doing, how they're growing, how they're evolving together. All of these really exciting themes that you get to live through one species, which is the tree swallow. And on top of that, they're migrating together. So they're all getting to their destination. So if you're ever struggling and you're looking around and you're saying like, oh my God, no one's ever experienced this before. No one's seen this. No one's been through this. Pause yourself for 1 minute, because let me tell you something, okay, my friend? What you might be experiencing, you are experiencing right now is not novel. It is not new. I know it feels novel. I know it feels new. Stick with me for just like 1 second, because it's not. There are hundreds and hundreds of thousands of business owners in the United States today alone. Okay. There are millions of failed, and I put that in quotes for those of you that are listening to the audio, business owners, people who have tried new projects and it hasn't gone well, people who have career pivoted and it hasn't gone well, people who've gotten married and divorced, people who have had kids and experienced loss, like all of these things. There's so many people in the world that have experienced things similar to what you might be experiencing right now. And there is community out there for what it is that you're going through. Say, for example, you've got a huge journey ahead of you. Your child was just diagnosed with autism. Congratulations, I'm autistic as well. And look at all the amazing things I've been able to do. Your child is going to create and build such a beautiful world. And I'm so grateful that you get to welcome them into it. And so with that, you can find a group of parents whose child was recently diagnosed, or find a group of autistic adults. Maybe you want to support a nonprofit so that your son has a place to go into, or daughter has a place to go into, or they them. What, like, you get to decide what it looks like to create the future, but it's about getting the supports in place in the community around you to actually have those supports and accept it when it does make its way. Because I will say there were many a times when I felt like, whoa, 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 I don't feel safe. And, it was just because my nervous system was responding so strongly to community for the first time ever, and it scared me. Not gonna lie, you guys, it did scare me. So, swallow gives me inspiration to, instead of getting scared and running away, embrace community, tell myself that it's okay to be around folks who also care about the things that I care about, and to not feel like, I have something to hold back. because that's often been the case for me. All right, you guys, now I've got the last group of birds, and this one I'm so excited to talk about with you, but it is our Corvid. And oh my good golly, you guys, I cannot stop talking about a Corvid. I love a Corvid. I think they're absolutely beautiful. I think they're goofy, silly, funny. And if you're not familiar with what Corvids are, allow me to introduce you to a long list of our Corvid species, okay? We've got the blue jay, we've got the Steller's jay, we've got the American crow, we've got the common raven, we've got the California scrub jay, we've got the woodhouse scrub jay, we've got the pinion jay, we've got the Florida scrub jay. We've got the island, I think it's the St. Catalina Island scrub jay or island scrub jay, one of those. We've got the Eurasian jay, we've got the green jay, we've got Mexican jay. Oh my gosh, we've got so many jays. And guess what they all have in common? These bad boys are intelligent. And most of them are food-based migratory species. So what do I mean by that? I mean that they are birds that will literally get up, leave their environment to go to another environment that has more prosperous food items. A bird that does this is the blue jay. Now, blue jays are also experts at mimicry, so they probably looked around and noticed that some birds were disappearing, and they were like, hey, maybe I can do that too. Left the environment, found new food sources, and bada boom, bada bing, just like that, they're back and brand new. Beautiful birds, bright blue, most of the ones that I named, except the green jay and common rainbow, but those bad boys are smart. They're so intelligent. And they remind us that we are allowed to change our environment if it's no longer working for us. If your environment's no longer suiting you, but it did at one point in time, it doesn't freaking matter that it did at one point in time, my friend. Throw that life away. If it's no longer suiting you, if it's actively harming you and it's making part of your life more difficult than it actually should be, then my friend, let it go. You have to let things go to let it grow, to let you grow, and you deserve that growth. You don't deserve to be held back by some sort of arbitrary experience that's just going to end up hurting you in the end, you know? You deserve all the beauty, the light, the bright, and I know that you can find it. You're on your way. We're doing it together, you guys. These were all the migratory birds that allowed me and supported me in understanding that life is best well spent when running in sprints. My friends, that was our brief overview of all of the birds that have taught me some amazing, amazing life lessons, all about how I can embrace myself, how I can take on more while also giving myself space and time to pause and relax. P.S. Thank you so much, our juvenile red-bellied woodpeckers, because boy, oh boy, do you remind me of a lot. And then the birds for reminding me, hey, maybe you gotta speed it up. And then the birds that were like, hey, you can't do everything alone. You gotta do it with other folks that are also doing those things. And, you know, I think it's just inspiring that we get the opportunity to do this together. So thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Thank you for watching. If you've been watching since the beginning, this is our official launch of season 4. I'm so grateful to be doing this here with you all. Thank you so freaking stinking much, everyone who has tuned in. It's been so great to watch this channel grow, to watch the following grow, to see all of you guys and hear your stories along the way. Thank you so much to everyone for your support. I really, really appreciate it. I can't wait to see where we'll go together, and I love you all so very, very much. See you on the other side. Bye.